Hello there and welcome to the channel. I am so happy that tonight we have invited and we are being joined by one of my favorite people in true crime, Sherilyn Dale. Stick around. This video contains mature themes and discussions intended only for adult audiences. Viewer discretion is advised. Hello there, my friend. Welcome back to the show. My name is Gavin. Welcome to another true crime conversation. Glad that you're here. I'm not going to bury the lead. We're going to just jump right into it. Welcome to the show, Sherilyn Dale, my pal.
Hi, G Money.
What's going on?
I'm so excited. I've been so excited for this. You know me. I get really nervous with lives, and I was like, okay, we got to talk. When was it? Last week?
Yeah.
Oh, it felt so
Yeah.
nice. And then you were like, would you want to come on? And I was like, oh God, only for you.
That's
And
exactly what you
then
said.
I was like, only for you. I can't do this. And then Colby invited me on his live on, I think it was Monday. I don't even know. All the days are blurred. And I was like, what? Who am I? I'm just
You're a
like,
busy girl.
I'm live in it all over the place, but this feels so nostalgic to me. I just love it so much.
I
Thanks
do
for
too.
having me.
I do too. I'm glad you're here.
Is that a pickle?
It is. It's a dill hole. It's a pickle in a hole.
Oh my God, I love
I,
it.
I use the word dill hole
So do I.
instead of using profanity that I want to use, but try really hard not to. So
I
that's
like that a lot.
that's one of my
I use
things.
I like a good dill hole every now and then.
Yeah, I like to call people dill hole a lot.
Yeah, that
I try not
sounded
to be a
amazing.
judgmental person, but I am. Here's
Yeah.
something that is a truth of true crime. Well, we'll find out if it is. You tell me if you agree or not. Um, Criminals are stupid, man.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
they are. Do you feel bad when you not bad, like, 'cause sometimes I just want to say like, what a fucking idiot. Oh, right, sorry. We try not to swear on here. But you know what I mean? And what a
yeah,
dill hole. And then you're like, but honestly, thank goodness you are,
yes,
because we were able to figure this out a lot quicker if you were,
yeah.
like, unless you were smarter.
No, I've got a buddy who is a quadruple board certified uh, forensic pathologist. He's a medical examiner. And he tells me, solving a murder is actually a very difficult thing to do. And he reminds me that most of the murders that go unsolved we don't even know about. So it's the ones that we know about, everybody seems dumb, but there are smart criminals
Right.
out there.
That is actually okay. First of all, that's fascinating when you think about it, but that's also really chilling as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I've told you I have a buddy who's she's an administrative law judge up in upstate New York. And she tells me every time she goes like on a long drive, if she's going through the desert, she looks out into the desert and goes, I wonder how many bodies are buried out there.
That's my
She's,
girl. That's literally my thoughts all the time. I ask Brent that all the time. I'll be like, babe, and he'll be like, don't even.
just
I'm
stop,
like, do you?
just stop asking.
He's like, do you? I like the very first time that ever happened was like so early in our relationship, and we were in a little road trip, and I'm like, what do you think when you look at, this wooded area as we're driving past? And he's like, I don't know, like how deep it goes, what kind of animals are there? I was like, oh. He's like, what do you think? I'm like, I don't know.
I don't
I
want to
don't
say out
know.
loud.
Same. That's what I think. I'm like, oh, let's go for a hike. No, I'm like, no, I think of how many bodies are buried and people haven't found it. He just kind of looked at me and he's like, okay. I'm like, well,
Okay.
that's what you get.
Now, we moved out here to Western Pennsylvania 8 years ago. Okay. And we bought a house that is very nice. It's the very first time we've had like a big, beautiful home.
I love your home. And I've
And
only seen pictures.
oh my goodness, it's fun. It's a fun house. But so we live in a small town, and so the good parts of town and the bad parts of town are like right next to each other because it's just a small town, right? It's just
Right.
only like 4 or 5 thousand people that live here. Anyway, we moved here and we're thinking that we're in a Norman Rockwell painting. This is straight out of like White Christmas or some like amazing thing, right? And then like on the fourth day that we were here, Fire engines go past our house, woo, and then cops start going by a few minutes later. We're like, what is going on? Well, it turns out the some dillhole 2 blocks away murdered a poor woman, took her out to the woods because our street, we're like on, we're very close to the woods. We're close to the edge of town. So, like, my little sister asked me, how far away is the country from where you live? Like next door,
The
because
backyard, yeah.
yeah. But anyway, killed this poor woman, took her out to the woods, doused her with gasoline, and lit her ablaze.
No.
Yeah, like we'd been here for maybe 5 days when this happened. Like
Oh my
it
god.
wrecked.
I would have moved. I would have been like, this is a sign. We gotta go. We
Yeah,
gotta
and
go.
it was literally on our street, right? So
Oh no.
like because our street ends being our street and becomes like this dirt lane going out into the woods.
Yeah.
Um, the first thing I thought was, what an idiot. All you had to do is like leave her there. She would have been gone. She would have been gone in like a couple of days.
Oh
Uh,
no. Yeah.
Like,
Do we know, like, was he caught? Do we know
oh
who it
yeah.
was?
Oh yeah.
Was it someone she knew?
Yes, it was a drug
Okay.
deal. It was a drug deal.
Oh, come on, not in White Christmas.
I know. I exactly, man.
Oh man.
But I was just thinking about like in the woods, like, okay, the Pennsylvania forest, first of all, it's humid out here and it is full of little woodland creatures that are like bears and foxes and mink and all just full.
Right. Yeah.
All you'd have to do is put a body out there and it would be gone like
So
that.
it was the fire, like that, like the smoke and stuff like that, that caught the attention.
The smoke, yeah, people are like, there's a fire out in the woods.
Oh
They're
my gosh.
they go out, they drive out the fire engines, go out there to report to the fire and go, well, there's only one thing burning. The woods don't light on fire here, right? It's
Right.
so damp.
Right.
And so the only thing that is on fire is a poor woman who has been doused with an accelerant. And yeah, they were able to find him like that.
Right away. Well, thank goodness for that, I guess. But what a way to welcome you into the neighborhood, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah, that was we learned really quick that well, everywhere is getting bad, I guess. Right?
Is so when you hear people say like, "Oh, like small town feel, everybody knows everybody's business." Is that the vibe you get? Like, do you know everybody's business?
I don't care to know everybody's business, and so I really don't. But everybody seems to know ours.
Oh, okay.
So I mean,
What
and
do
that's
they
partly,
say?
oh, we're horrible people. No, well, my wife works at a business downtown that is a retail establishment, and so like everybody knows her and everybody likes her. And then in my case, like my day job is I write for the local news company, right? So
Right.
my name's on everything. Everybody knows me. But I think it's
It's
fine.
suspicious. Yeah. Well, you're not out there dousing people in the forest. You would
This
have
is
done it
true.
a different way anyways, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, I
We
was
already know now.
I was talking to my buddy back in California. I was just back there a couple of weeks ago. Sherilyn, I just turned 50 years old. Five
Woo!
zero.
You look amazing. I
I'm an
love the new
old man.
hair.
Do you
Is
like the
that why
hair?
you grew it out? I love it. I'm really loving it. I wanted to ask about it. So glad we are getting an opportunity to talk about it. Was this part of it, like, though? Like, were you just like, listen, I'm 50, baby. Let's reinvent here.
Okay, so what happened was I always wanted to try long hair,
Yeah.
but I've never gotten it past the stage where it's just like it like really sucks to have, you know?
Right. Yeah.
And so what I know about myself is that if I announce a cause or a purpose, I will make it through because I have this unreasonable fear of public failure.
Right.
So I announced that I was going to grow out my hair to donate it.
Oh my God, I love that. And then what? Now are you or we're still going for a little
We're
bit?
still going. Yeah, I've still got like 4 inches to go. but
Oh, that'll be so cool. So even if you want, like they could, you could do like a little bit of a ponytail and keep it if you're loving it.
yeah, I don't know. I don't like it very much. In fact, I had it trimmed last night. Um, Speaking of knowing everybody's business, all you have to do is go to a salon and everybody knows everybody's business, right?
100%.
So I don't know anything about long hair, Sherilyn. Look, I just part it and like
It looks
tuck it
good. It
behind my
looks healthy.
ears.
It looks shiny. You've got a little bit of a curl towards the end. I mean,
I,
this is goals. I had to
well,
do that to myself.
well,
Well,
it
as it's
used
like
to do
flat.
this thing. You know the Brady Bunch where in the beginning Mrs. Brady had that thing going on like this? That's what I looked like for months. So I've passed my Carol Brady stage. Now I think I'm kind of in a Sandra D era because I put on my daughter's like headband to keep it out of my face.
I love it.
But anyway, I was the hairdresser last night. She's like, "So what do you want?" I'm like, "I don't know. I just really hate it and I don't know what to do." So she put layers in it for me. I told her I
Okay.
wanted to still look like a man though.
I love how you just like show this side. You're just like, I've got my layers now. No, I love
It's
it.
just
You've
yeah.
got the curl. It looks so cool. Have you done the man bun yet?
It's not long enough yet to really get it up on top, but when I work out, I put it in a bun when I work out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What does Kimberly think?
She thinks I'm going to keep it, but I can't wait for it to be gone.
Okay. Is
But
she a fan? Does she like it?
yeah, she likes it. Um,
Good.
I don't know. I think it accentuates my giant six head. It's like I'm my old man receding hairline kind of thing.
No, you
And
gotta stay.
yeah.
We're not old.
Well, you're not.
Well, I will be.
Eventually. Yeah, that's like when Harry met Sally. And I'm gonna be 40.
I am.
When?
I'm gonna be 40 next year. Literally. That's
Are you?
amazing. Yeah, I'm
You're
gonna
gonna
be
be
40 next
40.
year.
Are you
Yeah.
afraid of 40?
No, I'm actually really excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, 39 felt harder. I was just kind of like, oh, like 39. I'd rather, because like my girlfriends, I think, are thinking that like I'm gonna probably like go into like some sort of like manic episode or something like that. So they're trying to like plan, some like, like celebration, like, oh, let's go to BC to go to a wine tasting, or how about New York and go, watch some Broadway. So everyone's kind of making it a thing. So I think I was more like, oh, okay, well, I hope it's my 40th now instead of 39. So yeah, I think I'm gonna be okay.
I was good with 40.
Yeah, you're like I was good with 40, Sherilyn.
I was not good with 50. No, I have
Oh
not liked this at
no.
all. Yeah, it's not been fun. But I
It
mean, what do
looks
you
good.
do?
You're great. That's the thing for men. I feel like men, they get better with age, and then women, we've got this like pressure, I think. But
I think you put that pressure on yourself.
that's true. That could be. I actually do think that, actually, yeah.
I mean, Kimberly just turned 50 yesterday. For 25 glorious days, I was married to a younger woman. Now she is the same age as me. And
Kimberly's goals. I would not be scared to turn 50 if I look like Kimberly. That's
she is amazing.
Yeah, she is.
She ages so beautifully and gracefully. So
There we go,
she
right?
doesn't let the pressure get to her. Oh my
That's true.
goodness.
Maybe that's part of it.
Yeah, probably.
You're just kind of like, well, I mean, what can you do anyway? It's like freaking out over gas prices. You can't
Yeah,
change it. So
right.
let's not. Okay, that's going to be my motto going in. I still have quite a few years, but here we are.
Yeah, you've got forever. You've got forever. Hey, I was listening to your podcast today. In fact, I told you before we went on, it's your fault that I forgot to post a bunch on social media today because I was devouring Elizabeth.
I love that you listened to it. What are you thinking? Where are you, I guess?
No,
What you
well,
said 4?
I remember when that video on TikTok came out. And I said to myself, well, you took the time to like the lighting is fine. The shot is pretty good. You set this up.
Oh yeah.
And I remember like I was going to comment and then I was like, no, Gavin, if you don't have anything nice to say online, just don't say it, right?
I would have love to see that looking back. G Money just, the lighting's great. I can see there was thought.
No, it was planned for
Yeah.
sure.
Oh, of course. Everything with Elizabeth is.
Okay, so
Every.
I am at right now, like for the last 2 hours, I've just been like screaming, Andrew,
Are you screaming at Andrew? I was just going to say it's at Andrew, isn't
what are
it?
you doing, man? Tell everybody what Elizabeth is about,
Oh my
or
gosh.
Elizabeth.
Okay. Elizabeth, yeah. So Elizabeth is about Elizabeth Teckenbrock, and she is a. There is literally no way to explain Elizabeth Teckenbrock. This woman is the con artist of
Wrong
all
button.
con artists. I love that picture though. That was
Yeah,
great.
that is a good picture. Hold on, we'll go there. All right.
She is the con artist of all con artists. As you can see, that is a picture of her. She is beautiful, so that actually kind of like helps the appeal. But she has been lying her whole entire life, and it just gets more insane and more insane. And you know what? There wouldn't be a problem if she was just kind of like a chronic liar, except she ruins people's lives. Absolutely everybody that she comes into contact with, their life is worse after meeting Elizabeth Teckenbrock. She has scammed multiple, we used to say men, and now we actually have um, a female victim who's going to be in the second season. She's a huge part of the second season. She was scammed out of $400,000.
No.
Yeah, thinking that she was um, helping her best friend that she believed was dying of cancer. So she has faked cancer. I think we're on like 5 or 6 times right now. Um,
My goodness.
Multiple elderly men. Both of them are just under $1 million. So that's about 2 million. We don't even know where we're at right now. We just kind of guesstimate for $4 million at this point. There's so many victims though, like so many.
What is she doing with all that money?
That's the big thing. So she spends it very frivolously. It's like going on yachts, buying design, going on trips, taking other people on trips. She gives this facade that her family is extremely well off. She kills her family off all the time too. So it's funny. She causes friction in every relationship that she's in so that no one will talk to one another and they won't pick up on the lies. So she'll say, like her grandma's dead, her dad's dead, but then in the on the second hand, she'll say that her dad is some big mob guy, big drug dealer, and she's funneling a lot of his money. So it'll be like, oh yeah, I have $20 million coming. Literally, these are the amounts that she used. $58 million coming. I just need to borrow $100,000 from you, and she makes it like so convincing that she's of this status. She said that her grandma owned Tampa General Hospital. Um, and it's just so
Wow.
insane. But one thing that people say when they talk to her is she's so convincing and quick. She's been doing this her whole life that she really doesn't skip a beat. Even when she's like kind of called out, she's already got some story or some way of rebounding, and she'll admit to certain things. She'll be, oh, I did lie about that, but that's because of this. And obviously a big part of it is Andrew these days. He's this crazy Scientologist, abusive husband that she had to lie to get out of the marriage for. So that's why she faked cancer. It's exhausting. I'm exhausted, Gavin. I'm
Well,
exhausted.
what brought you to the story? Was it that first video on TikTok?
So that first video kind of got everybody. And then when I was invested when Andrew came on with his side of everything. And then you're just kind of like, oh my God. So you don't even have custody of these children that you said were crying, for you on your birthday. So that kind of like piqued the interest. And then I started following. And again, she's very good, right? So she was kind of doing, Andrew would come on and say something and then she'd have a rebuttal, and she can change her voice in like, even in her eyes, like it makes like to make her look scared, right? So then all of a sudden it was, he's right, I did lie about things, and it's, there's things that he's done that I would never say. And so then all of a sudden she's sprinkling this domestic violence accusation. And then, of course, you don't want to be the person to be like, you're full of shit. You're not a battered housewife. Like,
Right.
we don't know. So that got her going for like another year. And then from there, it was just, what was the biggest catalyst that got us going with it? I think it was when one of Andrew's supporters was able to pull up records, and we were able to see actual like police records, court transcripts, and oh yes, and then the body cam footage of one of her victims.
This is
Oh,
her, right?
I'm like, oh, I love it. See, I'm blocked. I don't get to see any of this anymore.
She is still posting. Like these are
Yep.
these are videos from this month.
Yeah, so right now
She's
she's
got
on a little bit of a
400,000
hiatus.
followers.
That's the scary thing. That is the scary thing. She is still posting. She knows that a girl that made mistakes trying to redeem herself. So that's always the thing too, right? Like she tries to buy back trust, and she knows that there's an FBI investigation right now on her, and it's surprising because she will keep coming back. So right now she's on a hiatus because she's been called out for scamming new people. Not so much for money, but trying to live for free and freeload off of these these girls at their house. They were new friends, and then they caught her in a bunch of lies, and it was just like, it was such a new friendship. They only knew her for like a weekend, I think, and there was like all this trauma and drama that happened in the matter of like 48 hours of knowing this broad. So they went on to go share their story. So now she's off again because she's like, I'm like, Elizabeth, so many people are looking at you right now. Like, so many people have questions, and I've never seen someone with no shame to this degree. She
Well,
will continue to come back unless
it,
she's in jail,
but if we're
prison.
talking about 4 million bucks, if you just if you were a good scammer and you scammed $4 million, you could just put that in the stock market and live off of the growth for the rest of your life, and you would
Yeah,
live well.
yeah, you'd think so.
That
That's
what?
what everybody says. I go, what? So that's part of it. People are like, did she actually? Because where's the money? How do you spend that? And it's things on like a private jet and going on trips and these lavish everything. It's just like over the top. And then she spends it all. And then she's living in the slums in Florida. Until she scams somebody else.
Oh my goodness, that is.
And then it's also the emotional thing too. So another thing that she does is she gets very, very close to, girls specifically. It's like the best friend that like she can't ever be alone. So she's so intense. She love bombs so quickly, basically like moves in and lives with, different girls at different periods of time. And then it'll be like the cancer thing, like, oh my God, I think it's the cancer's back or whatever. And then it's terminal. And then she'll say to them, I love you so much. I want you to take custody of my children when I'm gone, like
Oh
I
my
want you to
goodness.
I want you to get close to them. So then all of a sudden these friends are picking up the kids that she does see. She's got 4. She does not see the 2 with Andrew. She actually tells people that those 2 are not even hers, that he had an affair with a stripper and she decided to try to parent them. I mean, it's insane.
Wow.
Yeah. So the other 2, she'll say to these people like, can you pick them up from school? I want them to get used to this new routine. Can you do this? I'm going to go out. You stay with them, do the bedtime routine. Really, she's just got a babysitter for 6 months or until they catch on. And then it's like, oh, can I borrow some of this? I'm going to go see my parents out, wherever. I'm going here. Can you pay for my flight? And I left all of my money in my will to you. It's millions and millions of dollars. So when I die, like, you'll get paid back everything I owe you. It's just,
Wow.
so a lot of it
It-
is like emotional as well.
so one of the things, okay, Andrew, is he like an ophthalmologist or something like that?
Yeah.
Okay,
Andrew's Andrew. Yeah.
so he went to med school, right?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
You have
Yeah.
to, right? Like, if you're
Yes.
working with eyes,
Yes. That
yeah.
that is a medical doctor.
Yeah, he's
Well,
a doctor, right? He's like
it's
Dr.
an
Andrew.
OD, right, or whatever it is. But anyway, like she's talking about having stage 4 lymphoma and needing a lung transplant and then a liver transplant, and Dr. Andrew has not caught on. I
I
was
know.
dying. Sherilyn, I was dying.
I know. I know everybody's been yelling. Everybody's been yelling. I've been yelling at Andrew sometimes. It's just like, well, that, and he does, I think he does admit, yeah, quite a bit slipped, slipped through there. But when she did come, I think it was when it was the surgery. That's when he was like, um, I want to see this, like I want to talk to them, because she was lucky around then she had a little
COVID.
bit more, yes, she had more leeway, right? So he wasn't able to go to these
Yes.
appointments. And then that's when all of a sudden she creates and fabricates this entire Google Suite email chain between all of these different doctors, and then was sending things to Andrew. And then again, he was like, this treatment plan doesn't make sense though. Like, I need to come to this next appointment. And then what do you know it? She goes to the next appointment and there's been a miracle. She doesn't need any surgery anymore. Something happened and she is better.
But she even like claimed she was in chemotherapy and stuff like that, right?
Oh yeah, had the whole like she has pictures of like a chemo port, but then it moves like, depending on the picture. She's a freaking dill hole.
So has she come after you at all on this?
Oh yeah, she actually, I wonder, oh, no, I don't think it's on there on her thing anymore, but she was praising the podcast. She was like, "Listen, if this wasn't about me, this podcast it's great. They did such a good job. It's
Oh my
amazing."
goodness.
But yeah, she's kind of gone back and forth. So she will try to, reach out to work to figure out how she could potentially be involved and share her story to, I'm going to sue you and all of this stuff. It's like, babe, tell us where we lied and then you can sue us.
Yeah.
So
Well,
she knows she can't.
I had wondered about that because you are Canadian, you are producing in Canada. You have very different rules in Canada. I would say that are a little less friendly to free speech than here in the States. And
Yeah.
when I was
Like,
listening, and the reason that I might have a little bit experience on this, Sherilyn, is because I've gotten a lot of threatening things out of Canada. I covered a case in Canada, Ramina Shaw. Have you
oh, I
heard of
remember. Yes.
Ramina?
Yeah. You scared me from talking about it.
Oh, dude, her husband, her, I think they did divorce before she was murdered. He full on is mobbed up. He is a gangster.
Yeah.
And oh, he reached out to me, and then his lawyer reached out to me, and then he was indicted, and, and so I didn't have to worry about it so much. But one of the things that they put in their letters to me was, this letter is copyrighted, so you may not share this letter online. And I said to myself, dude, this is the United States of America. Have you ever heard of free use? Like, I'm going to share this, and I'm going to tell people why it's bogus, right? But
Right.
anyway, yeah,
Were you
you
able
don't have
to
this.
because of the cross, like because like it was sent to you?
Well, in the First Amendment protects me here. Now,
Right.
if he would have pushed it in Canada, I would
Mm.
have had problems, because Canada,
Ooh,
you
right.
guys don't, you the Commonwealth countries, Sherilyn, and I'm apolitical on the show, but the Commonwealth nations uh, align more closely to Great Britain than they do to us. Like, we rejected Great Britain in our
Right.
history. I'm taking credit for it as an American. It was my ancestors, right, that rejected Great Britain. And
Yeah.
the Commonwealth nations, just, you guys think that you're free, but you don't have the same freedoms we have.
That's actually, you guys think you're free. That's actually really true. So I don't know. I mean, I just look at it by, we're telling people stories, and this is their truth. Chelsea's in Florida though, so I
Uh,
guess it would have been interesting if anything happened. But really, at the end of the day, it's like everything has been, vetted and fact checked, and it's that's It's true. This is the things
Yeah.
that she's done to people. So,
Come at
and she
us. Yeah.
knows it. Yeah, she knows it. She even said, it's funny. She said in I don't know if it was on a live or something like that, but it was that I'm not going to come out and say everything that I've done. What they've said on the podcast is pretty much true. And then she said that, there's like a couple things that aren't. So I don't know if
So
she's
she's
talking about
admitting
dates
to
or
it.
whatever. Yeah. So she won't say what specifically. I mean, I don't know what that does if she's saying that primarily everything is true on it, knowing that you're being investigated by the FBI. But
Yeah. Well, listen, yeah, the FBI is going to have jurisdiction if she did it across state lines, and it sounds like she did.
oh yeah, that's the biggest thing. So I think that that's what we're. It takes a long time, but I know up until a couple weeks ago, one of the victims' family members, they're not participating in the season, but did reach out to Chelsea to say, we know that things are feeling like they're moving more than they have. So yeah, it's
That's
it's
good.
it's sounding, yeah, and that's what I was thinking too, because I was watching something similar. I probably Scamanda or something like that. I always say that it's similar to like Scamanda or apple cider vinegar. Like they both just had a baby, and the spawn of Elizabeth came out. But I think they were able to get Scamanda on the cross state lines thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and if she's emailing, which she was, she set up a whole Google, like, she set up a legal practice basically, right? Then
Yes.
yeah, that's illegal use of a communication facility. That's a federal law. That's Hey, I'm gonna bring this picture back up again. You just sent this to me. This is one of my
I love
favorite pictures ever.
It's mine too. Look how adorable we are.
How
This is
far
when we
back was
first
this?
met.
This was the first time we met. This was
Yeah,
at Camp David.
this was Camp David. Very special place for all of us.
Yeah. Camp David refers to David Elmquist. And if you guys don't know about David, um, well, one thing you can do is you can check The Stack Deck, which is a podcast that Sherilyn produced with David's father, Scott. The other thing you could do is you could go to my website, go into cases, and David is in here. David has a big case page here on the site
Yes.
um, that gives you all the info.
The
So much.
pictures. And I
Yeah.
think that's where I would definitely recommend going for sure, because that specifically, the crime scene photos, I think once you see that, you have to see it.
Yeah. Like
You
for
have to
example,
see
this one.
it. Yeah.
This one broke my
And the
brain.
corner there, right?
The
The corner
burnt
of that
corner.
bench.
Yeah. So guys, David Elmquist, man, how old? David was 24 years old, living
Yeah.
in the Twin Cities area, Minneapolis, St. Paul. And speaking of fires, right? The story that his wife told was that he poured on himself some crude oil. He worked in um,
The oil field
the
in
oil fields in North
North
Dakota.
Dakota. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, that he poured upon himself some crude oil that he kept as a souvenir and lit himself ablaze in their kitchen. And uh, the police and the fire marshal kind of believed her. I think that she poured it on him and
Yeah.
and lit him ablaze. It's a sad story. Go to the website and
Yeah,
this
there's
page.
there's so much. I think also, do you have the photos of his wrists there?
I do not. I've not
Oh,
published
okay.
those anywhere.
Okay. Okay.
I've Has Scott started to be okay publishing those?
Yeah, I mean they have them on their Instagram, I believe.
Yeah.
Um, they have them here. I have, or on the change.org. I'll
They,
send you just so people can kind of see what we're, if you don't want to
yeah.
put it.
As long as
This is
Scott and Nancy are okay with it,
Yeah,
I'm okay.
this is from I believe their change.org. Or no, this was I think Amy put it on the Instagram. It's not what we saw. Although I would say that that made me even more, um, not that I needed any convincing, but to see a fuller photo of his body, to see the difference, almost like it looked like a line, and that the burns were much stronger where the dishwasher was, which is where we know that that was the primary source
Yeah.
of the heat. So that to me, it's like, well, she was the one standing there. She admitted that.
Yeah. And Tiff, no, he succumbed to his injuries and died. He was 24 years old. It's
After
a
being in after being left in the apartment for 45 minutes while the Hennepin County
yeah.
what are they? Sheriff's Department.
I think it was
After they
the
left him in there.
yeah. Apparently they thought that he had a knife was the story, so they wouldn't go in, and he was suffering and died at the hospital a little while later. This is us at the apartment building, Sherilyn. Look at us go.
I love this
We've got a
picture.
giant next to his little friend.
His little friend. That is me, the little hobbit. Oh my god, I love it.
You do make me feel like really tall. I am a tall person, but
Because how tall are you? You're like at
I'm
least you got.
6'2".
Okay, I was gonna say you at least are a foot because I'm 5'1", so a foot and more.
Yeah, yeah. So but everybody should
That
check
is.
out that case. That well, the podcast, I haven't listened to the podcast yet.
Mhm.
Um, but I know the case very well.
Yeah, it was written by. It was written and primarily narrated by David's dad, so you can definitely hear a lot of his emotion and plea and everything like that in there, which I think is powerful. I mean, I think you and I still have plans for David. There's just something about that case that it just won't let it will it I can't let it go.
Well, that day, I think it was this very day, uh, we were out at Camp David. We were working together. We had just met that day or the night before, something like
Night before,
that.
I think, yeah, yeah.
And was it this night that we were in the what happened to everybody is Scott and Nancy Elmquist, David's folks, and his sister Amy invited us to their home. And so you flew from Canada, I flew from PA, and we met there in Twin Cities, and we stayed with them. It was awesome. You stayed in their like little guest quarters down in the basement, and I stayed in the camper outside. It was awesome,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But I think it was this night. It may have been the next night where we went till like the wee hours of the morning in their living room of their house talking about the case. And
Yeah.
Scott, like if I could characterize Scott, Scott is a financial planner, I think is what he does for a living. He's very much a, the stereotypical financial planner, I would say, right? He's a very by the numbers, by the book kind of a guy. And he had a moment where he like I think I don't think anybody was his target, but Amy was in the way emotionally, and he let out this emotional just cry,
Mhm.
this just deep level of frustration that was so powerful. And Amy was
Mhm.
graceful through the whole thing. She
Yes.
just expressed so much grace. But that's a moment that I will never forget. These poor people lost their son to a
Mhm.
murder,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
nobody nobody cares.
Yeah, it's frustrating, and it is those moments that are so important, to see. I think firsthand, as hard as it can be, right? It's not all. I mean, of course, when you are we're like, oh, look at we're there. We were kind of doing some spy work. We broke
Some
and entered
sleuthing.
into the some sleuthing into the parking garage. Um, so like there's those moments that I'm like, oh, that was fun, but in the same sense, it was heavy, right? Like it was by the
Yeah.
end of the night, you're like, decompressing, going through everything, and kind of recentering to the real picture, why we're there. David's not there.
Yeah. I wish I was doing more of that still. Like my channel has pivoted quite a bit to more
Mhm.
of a live stream format. It's almost exclusively live stream. But I'm hoping as I'm cutting back more and more hours from my day job that I'll be able to get to kind of those deep dives, going and visiting
Mhm.
families. That visiting the Elmquists was I mean that's kind of a moment in my life. That's kind of a
Me too.
you
And
know
that's what I want to do for sure too. I would love to kind of look more into that. Being there, being like, immersed in it, and uh, more documentary stuff. We kind of talked about, I don't know, we need to infiltrate that freaking side of things, because it's just when you start talking to people who, participate and just share, of course, you're so desperate to share your story
yeah.
that you're just like, yes, I'll do anything. They don't know the legalities, the logistics, the ethics behind it, and how much people have just lost their morals when it comes to doing things like, producing these documentaries and not giving a shit. When Colby and I were talking on his live, he was talking uh, about the documentary that he did for Netflix, and how he just was going to give up talking about anything altogether. Like, he was just like, I will never do another interview. He just had just the worst taste in his mouth, because it was not what they agreed to. They did this full documentary. He got all of these, his whole family involved, poured his heart and soul into it, thinking that it was going to be one way, and it was the polar opposite. There were people in there who he specifically said he did not want in, that were,
They're
looked at
there.
as sources in it. And it was just like, really, like, that you could have, he even said, you could have interviewed so many other people. I could have got you this person or this person who really knows what they're talking about, and not just wanting, airtime. So he was really, you know let down. And the more I hear about this, with the more people that I talk to who have participated in these types of things, it's just icky. It's actually made me kind of go on this, I don't know, crusade of, I kind of want to get my foot in that door and just start cracking the whip.
Well, I don't. I have participated in two pre-productions, one of which actually is on Hulu right now. Um, I think so. In the Ellen Greenberg case, in fact, actually, let me tangent here for a second. I had a moment similar to what we had with Scott and Nancy and Amy, the Elmquists, with Josh and Sandy Greenberg one time in their home in Harrisburg, and it was like we all just recognized what just happened, right? It was the same kind of thing. Like, and Josh and Sandy Greenberg have been so graceful with how they have navigated 15 years of trying to get justice for their daughter. And they have never had an outburst. They have never lost their cool. They have always uh, been just class acts all the way. But we had one of those moments where it was just like, oh man, you are feeling this. It's not, you are having to publicly keep all of that down in order to get to where it is that you want to be. And I
Right.
mean, it's simultaneously sad and inspiring that
Mm-hmm.
somebody is like that, right? But
Right.
getting back to like I started working on this documentary on Ellen with a partner, and I was the junior partner, definitely. I had fewer bona fides, and I was told, I'm going to fund this and we're going to get it done. And I said to myself, great, because I had done a pre-production of the Amanda Winkowski case, and man, just the way that company, and I won't name them, and it's not that they're a bad company, it's that they work in an industry that is so horrible that they kind of have to behave that way. But I didn't want to do that, and so I agreed, yes, I will help on this project. And then, like, maybe 2 years into it, Lionsgate was brought in. And then I'm talking with lawyers and I'm talking with, like, no, you guys are so freaking predatory. You're so predatory that I just
Yeah.
don't want anything to do with it. And I love Ellen and I love Josh and Sandy and I love Laura, the other producer. I love you all. But
Hmm.
I got to go because I
Yeah.
hate this.
Right.
And I don't think to get a story out there we need that anyway. I don't think we need Hollywood. We don't need Netflix or Hulu or anything like that. We
No,
can
and
just
that's
tell
it.
stories.
Exactly, which I love. And I think if anything, it's kind of like the plan that we've always kind of had, like even for David's case of like going out there. Now we've already been boots on the ground. Okay, where do we want to go back? What would we want to focus on and like film that ourselves? And I mean, you can produce great quality things, like whether it starts on YouTube and then maybe that does get picked up. But I mean, if you're working with the correct sound and all of like those
Yeah.
metrics, that a documentary potentially would want to pick up later. Well, we've already done the work, then you sell it, right? Like, yeah, we don't have to work with anybody.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we need, like, more people need to get to. More storytellers, I guess, people who are working with families. That needs to be the focus as
You know,
opposed to this big conglomerate.
did you ever meet LaDonna Humphrey? Like it,
Gavin,
have you?
do
Okay,
you know
listen.
what's going on with LaDonna Humphrey?
I know that there's a lot going on, but I'm going to ignore it for a
I'm
second,
so
okay?
excited to talk about this.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to let you go first.
I'm going to ignore it for a second because she did
Okay.
something that was pretty awesome. Out of her own pocket, she spent, I
Okay.
think, 70 grand.
Yeah.
And she created a documentary and she put it on YouTube. And in like 2 weeks, it got 1 million views. And then Amazon picked it up.
Right. See, that's the thing. We'll take that from LaDonna.
Yeah. By the
Okay.
way,
So,
just full disclosure, I like LaDonna. I'm friends with LaDonna. I
Gavin.
totally am. Tell me why I'm not. I shouldn't be, I guess.
No, I don't want to say when you shouldn't be. Okay, did you listen to the podcast?
I have not listened to. No, I have not.
Okay. So it's called Who's Afraid of LaDonna Humphrey?
Yes.
Um I'll just say listen to it, baby. Maybe listen to it. So, here's my experience.
Okay.
This is what shocked me because I didn't realize until I listened to that podcast and he's talking about the Dark Secret podcast that she had,
Yeah.
that I met her when we were at CrimeCon
We were in
UK.
London together. Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh my gosh, I met her." And she was telling me the story about them being, stalked and harassed by who potentially could be this this predator of her co-host, who was like this survivor of, like the dark web and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then they thought could potentially be linked to the case that she had worked really hard on and did the documentary with. And it was her, like she had accidentally screen shared something with Alicia. And she saw in the corner that the email address and the code, like like you see your little dial or whatever, it was this sleuth master or whatever.
Oh, she was stalking herself?
She was stalking her and the victim, who was her podcast co-host, for
No.
content. Gavin, you have to listen to this.
Okay, dang it.
It is wild, but I would love to know more, like about other sides and stuff like that. And I will say, I'm not going to out the person who said it, but I will say, there is somebody else that I've talked to in the true crime space who is kind of on the fence and is just like also being like, like I kind of like her. I do believe what happened though, but also I don't know if I like the way that she was kind of baited on the podcast and all. So I'm like, I don't know. There are still people out there who
Well,
are still
when this
kind of,
happened, so I met LaDonna at the same like we went out to dinner, like all the creators went out to get to dinner, and I
yeah,
was at a table with LaDonna and was her name Alicia? I
Alicia,
can't
yes.
Yeah. And another woman who's she's awesome. I can't remember her name right now. I'm blanking on her name. Anyway, so that was the first time I ever met them or heard about anything. And boy, did it suck me down a rabbit hole. The whole dark web thing, just like, what? But
Yes, that
anyway,
was me.
yeah. But at the time, I had kind of had to reinvent myself out of my career from I worked in high-end audio for a lot of years, and
Right.
I had worked for a company called Light Harmonic, later called LH Labs, and I was the sales guy, and I was the face of the company, and everything that the company did, everybody thought that I was the owner. I had no ownership in the company. I just was the guy that was the sales guy,
The
right?
guy.
And I freaking did a great job, but what ended up happening is we did crowdfunding in the order of like $10 million.
Right, right, right. I remember this.
And I think Larry and the company delivered something like 4 million of it, and then they just and so all of a sudden that was my fault,
Right,
and it was all over everywhere. So kind
right.
of blacklisted, and I thought, well, is the same thing happening to LaDonna? That's what I was like, is the same thing that happened to me happening to her? And so I've always given her the benefit of the doubt. But no, I've not listened to the podcast. I haven't done any of the digging.
I will say listen to the podcast because Alicia
Okay.
is not the only person who has had scary encounters. I'll say that.
Well,
So
I will
anybody
check it out.
listening who's a little bit, curious, it's called Who's Afraid of LaDonna Humphrey. And if I were her and I would have seen the cover art for this podcast,
Oh no.
diabolical. Straight to jail, I would have sued. Gavin, you're not
Yeah.
ready. You are not. I would have sued for the podcast art alone.
Okay, I'm about to see it. Uh Oh no. Oh no.
Yeah. Oh no.
Is this the one?
Yep.
No. Yeah, okay.
That's it. Diabolical, you guys. It's oh my god.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's it. Yeah, you'll go down a rabbit hole.
You know what? Do you have a mugshot anywhere? I don't have a mugshot anywhere.
I do, but I think our laws in Canada are quite tight.
You have a mugshot?
I do. I do.
Wow. Are you a hardened
Yeah.
criminal?
No, I pled guilty to a mischief charge. I took a wee break off drinking in my early 20s because I was going through a lot, and it was definitely like the epitome of hurt people. Like I wanted
Oh,
to blow up my life so bad. I was just like craving to just not be and to I just didn't care. And yeah, I got into an altercation with a hotel clerk at a hotel, and I shoved his computer at him. And so the police came and scooped me up, and I pled guilty to the charge because I was like, I even had a lawyer there that was like, don't do this because this will stay like, you're going to have to do all the things. It's going to stay on your record. And I was like, yeah, but I did it. I feel like this was the wake up call. I don't want to sit here and try to rehash it all and make an excuse. Like it was what it was. But yeah, so
was it a wake-up call?
for a time, I've gone through quite a few of those life imploding moments. And listen, I've been really good for a long time now, but the 20s, I think in general, were kind of a write off for me for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a hard time in my 20s, in my early 20s.
I
I,
understand when people are like, I'd never go back to my 20s. I remember being 20 and being like, oh, you wish. Like, you're just old and bitter. No, they were not old and bitter.
I had a conversation with my friend who's a documentary filmmaker down back in California when I was there earlier this month. And we were talking about this kind of stuff. And like there were things that I did when I was 19, 20, 21, 22 years old that I mean, I wasn't breaking the law. I wasn't like, I don't know, I wasn't out whoring or or anything like that. But I was pretty pitiful guy and did some things that were probably hurtful to a lot of people, and one of whom hasn't talked to me in 30 years, and like to this day I would love to reconnect with her. But I understand why she wouldn't want to. It's like
Really?
yeah, I was a um well, I was a young kid and not really in touch with my own feelings, and caught between love and duty, and
Hmm.
I was it was tough. It was a tough time, but I wouldn't change it because it brought me to where I am. Like,
Right. And that's the thing, right? That's the hardest. And it's so cliche, but it, it's true, right? Like I mean, I'm sure we could think of people who are like, well, I wish I wouldn't have met that person and done this.
yeah,
But, like actually being able to recognize and change and grow from it. And I think at the end of the day, if you can be somebody who can honestly like look at those mistakes and own them, not, accept them and be like, oh, I had a million excuses as to why, understand that it was wrong and why you wouldn't do it again and maybe help somebody else along the way with it, then that's what it's all about.
yeah. Hey, we've been going on for almost an hour. Let me get a couple of questions here. Uh, let's see. Let's talk disability, says Gavin Waite. A woman doesn't claim two of her kids. Who does that? Going back to Elizabeth.
Yeah. Oh, I knew exactly who you were talking about, girl. I know. That is Elizabeth, though. And it's interesting because, well, we think that everybody's heard the podcast, right? Like, that's what you think. You're like, oh, everybody now knows about her and like they're going to be protected. No, she's still out there doing that. So when Chelsea was doing a lot of the interviews for season 2, that was one of the questions she asked everybody. She's like, how many kids does she say she has? And they'd always say 2. And then they're
Wow.
like, she's like, oh, but she has 4, right? And she'd go, some of them didn't even know about the other 2, and then some of them had heard the stripper story.
Wow. Susie, who is one of your team, I believe, says you should use your
Susie.
mugshot to make merch.
Yeah. That actually would be that. I see. I don't even know how to. Oh my god! I don't want to like put like a test out there for people to be like, "I'll find it for you."
Yeah.
Uh, I've never seen it. I've never wanted to see it and go back into that point. Listen, if I was going to do something like that, Suze, I would probably just take a bullet and do the AI and just get the repercussions of what people had to say about me using AI.
There you go. There you go. I've never been arrested. I've been detained, but I've never been arrested. I was detained in the UK, and I was full on put in one of those, they call them panda wagons. That's like the rolling
Oh
jail.
yeah, yeah, I went there. Yeah,
I,
I
have you
was
been put
rolling
in a
in one of
panda
those.
wagon?
Yeah, I was putting that. That was how I was transported. Hey, listen, that's another one. Okay, oh my gosh, this is terrible. That was a different situation. I was with my mom, okay? And this lady just came like bat out of hell. One evening, I was pulling into my mom's parking lot and we're just sitting there, decompressing over the night. This woman comes out and she's like pounding on my driver's on the window. I thought she was going to burst it open. I'm like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "You clipped my husband's car," and she's holding a license plate. And I'm like, "I am so sorry. I don't know what you're talking about." I'm trying to talk to her. I'm like, I didn't hit anything. Like I would have felt if I hit something. What are you talking about?" She was going so ballistic that my mom said it just must have been something in me. She swiped and like hit me in the side of the head with the license plate.
Oh,
And my mom goes, "I didn't know who you were." You just went like full on,
you'd
I'm
had
gonna take you.
enough.
Yeah, and she was so when the police were trying to figure out everything, I'm 5'1". This woman was maybe like 5'5", and about 4 of Sherilyn. And I was like to the police, I was like, "How could I have done that?" They're like, "There's witnesses. Like, we don't know what you did. Maybe you want to be on the force and start taking people out." Getting them down to the ground, but you did that. But that's what my mom said. She's like, "I didn't know who you were." So I got to ride in that thing And then basically I was let go because I don't know, I think it was just too many different
That is
stories
funny.
going on.
No, mine was way, way more scandalous than that.
Okay, what
I,
was yours? Oh, do
well,
we want
in
to talk
Great
about it?
Britain, brace yourself, Sherilyn Dale. Brace yourself. Are you ready?
Yeah, I am.
While driving in Great Britain, I turned left on a red light.
Oh no.
After I stopped
They detained you?
with like 8 bobbies surrounded me. I think once they saw me stand, like they asked me to get out of the car, and I don't know, British people are small. People don't think about this, right? But they're like,
Yeah,
they're small people.
super tiny.
And so when they see a guy that like is my size, man, they called in for reinforcements. The panda wagon got there, the whole thing. And I'm not a guy that I never would do this, but I remember sitting in that panda wagon with like 4 guys around me, and I was like, I think I'd win. I think I could take all 4 of these guys. I was training hard at the time, in martial arts and everything. Yeah, I think I got these guys. I think I could get out of here no problem.
I'm
But
surprised they let you back in for CrimeCon.
oh, I know I'm a hardened criminal. I'm a hardened. The other thing that happened from that trip is, um, you know how I don't know if you've driven very much in the UK, but
Never. I would
on their
never.
motorways, they have little camera signs that tell you. I didn't know this the first time I was there. Well, the first time I was driving there, that they're saying, "Hey, cameras are taking pictures of your license plates," right? But I'm on the
Oh.
motorway and it's a wide like 4-lane thing and they want me to go 55 kilometers an hour. I'm dying. So I just went, right? I drove from London up into the north and I just went. And when I like 2 months after I got back from the rental car agency, I think we got a bill for about $2,800 in speeding tickets.
No.
Yeah, man.
Because
Uh,
because the cameras just were picking it up the whole time?
oh yeah, and I was there for like a week. And I was letting it
I
go.
was there for like a week.
We rented a nice Mercedes Benz. It was a great car, and I was going up to again. It was a high end audio affair, so it's all fancy dancy. It was up in the Midlands, and so yeah, it wasn't in the north. It was in the Midlands, and it was at this beautiful old estate, and everybody's showing up in their Aston Martins and Ferraris and stuff. And I'm like, dude, let's race. So I full on was like goading people. Let's go race. It was really funny.
Oh, you know what? I will say this. I after having driven with you and Amy, I would I would go in that speeding car on the opposite side of the road over driving with
With
Amy.
Amy, oh man, she was scary.
I love her, but I love her. But those people have 9,000 things going on while they're driving, and not one of them is looking at the road or the
Yeah,
speed limit.
yeah, it's all inside the car. Nothing outside the car matters, right?
No, that is no one's business what is happening outside of that vehicle. So many
Yeah,
times Lynn would just reach over. I'd be like, we're good.
I
We're
I thought that
okay.
we were going to die. I thought we were
Yeah.
going to die.
Yeah. When you said at the restaurant, you know what? That's going to drive us back. I was like, that's my guy
I've
right
forgotten
there.
that I did that. I did. I didn't want her to drive anymore.
My
You know
mom
what? You
told me
should
that the
drink.
other day.
Amy, you should drink. Why don't just drink up? I'll drive. Don't worry about it.
That's what my mom said. She's like, remember when Gavin, we were at that restaurant and Gavin's like, you know what? Have another. I've got
I
this.
totally did. I encouraged everybody to get hammered because I did not want
Oh, that was
Amy driving.
good.
Oh, it's funny. Oh my goodness, that's
Oh,
so
we love
funny.
her.
All right, real quick, couple more things before we go. Let me just
Yep.
let's see. Hope G says she's from the Twin Cities and has never heard of David's case. What year did it happen? That was 2018, right? Let me see.
Yes, it was.
February 9th,
Yeah.
2018. And Mooney, who is one of my OGs, says, I really feel that family members of ones that that we're taking need people like you and Sherilyn to get involved and be advocates in their corner. You know, I'm actually working with someone right now to put together a like a like a how-to course on how to be an advocate for somebody. I I
I love it.
I think that's
Have you
something that
talked
people could
to
use.
Haley Gray?
That's who I'm talking to, Sherilyn Dale. How did you know that?
Well, I'm like, that's our girl because she's just an unbelievable at it. Like
Oh, she's amazing.
I wish you would have been at CrimeCon Denver this year because we're just live right now, baby.
Had a little one.
That's the littlest one. Because I will say this from Nashville being the first one that I went
Mm-hmm.
to almost not going to Denver. I'm so glad that I did because seeing people like Haley be there and have like her own booth and the advocacy work that she was doing and the amount of families that came up and I could tell who had worked with Haley because she either have this letter kind of pre-written with a QR code or a postcard with a QR code or stickers with a QR code, and all you do is scan it. And when you scan it, the entire research document is pulled up for creators. Because
Yeah.
that's one of the biggest things, right? You meet so many people, and then it's like trying to coordinate, like working with each other and who wants to keep telling the story. That's like one of the hardest things as a creator is that you don't know, like what you want to like what the not really boundary. I feel like if they're kind of approaching you, but like it's hard to like kind of like relive everything all over again for everybody involved.
Yeah.
And so to have that all done this year and then actually meet these families, they had their own badges. It was just I was blown away. I like immediately emailed Elise and I was like, this is what I will come back for. This was unbelievable.
Well, I have applied for a spot in Content Creators Row for 2026. Um, they they've declined me every year before. Um,
Oh, I will email. Like you can't get declined. You can't get declined, Gavin. You got to be there.
but yeah, I'm not all that enthusiastic about Vegas, but that's because I'm an old
Oh yeah.
curmudgeon. I honestly think the entire city smells like farts. I just absolutely hate it in Las Vegas. But I would love to experience CrimeCon, and it would be an excuse for Kimberly and I to get out of the house and go do something together. And
Yeah.
we both have
Go see
family
some
there.
shows. Go see some shows in the evening. That's what I'm most excited about.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe do
A little
something.
magic, maybe.
Yeah,
A little Cirque du Soleil.
I've I've done all of those so many times, but I would do it again. I used to have to go to Vegas like twice a year for work,
Mm.
and but Kimberly has family out there. Her aunt and uncle live out there, and some cousins. And then I have a I guess he's now he's my dad's first cousin. So my first cousin once removed.
Okay.
He runs a shop that was my Uncle Jack's shop from the 1950s on Sahara Boulevard called John Fish Jewelers, and
Oh my
it's time
gosh,
for me to
that's
get
so cool.
a new John Fish watch. So I'd love
That
to
is
get in
so
there
cool.
and do that. Yeah,
Okay, well, let me know if you really do want to go because
I do. I want to go.
okay, okay,
Yeah, if
perfect.
you can put in
Yeah.
a good word, I will be there.
Absolutely. I think that I'd love to see you there. I think Nancy is usually always there too, so it kind of feels like home. Also, whenever I see her, I'm like, oh, thank God you're here.
Hey, I presented in London this year with
Did
Joseph
you?
Scott Morgan. Yeah, we
Oh,
did.
I knew that. I knew that. I saw that. I
Yeah.
was so excited. I'm coming this year. I'll
Are
be
you?
or next year. Yes,
Yeah,
October, right?
I will do it again too. This time it was our 25th anniversary, and so I went in for the little VIP dinner, the presentation the next day, and then we were off to Portugal. So
Oh, nice.
I know it was awesome. It was awesome. I want to live in Portugal now. I
Yeah.
I will do it. I want to go to Portugal right now. Like if I could go like, right now, I would do that. Hey, thanks for coming on. It's so good to catch up with you.
I know. I love it.
And
MBF vibes.
yes, we need to. I, I would totally do that podcast again. We need somebody to book us guests though. We
We
need a
need someone
guest
to book
booker.
us guests and then also give us outlines of things on the days that we don't have guests.
Yes. something.
Volunteer in the comments.
That's right. If you were a booking producer,
Yes.
please let us know. All right.
Yeah.
Stick around for just a second. I'm going to do the outro and I will be right back. Okay. See you later. All right, guys. Thank you very, very much to Sherilyn Dale for joining us. I've linked to her channel down below. Also, check out the podcast that she's done. So the Stack Deck and Elizabeth is the one that I'm listening to right now. It's amazing. So check that out. And you can always reach me at gavinfish.com. You're always welcome to join us over on the Fish Tank. Where am I going? Right here. The Fish Tank is where we hang out on Facebook. There's always an invitation for you to join me there. With that, I bid you adieu. Thank you very much for being here. I'll see you tomorrow night with Joseph Scott Morgan, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, right here. Take care. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you liked what you saw, please consider subscribing. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below.